Hello and welcome everybody, welcome back here to God Save the King. Salute, and we can continue. We are currently purging the disloyal opposition, and beyond that nothing much has happened. Knight of the Monkey's Head, oh the Triads are going to take over here in the Legate cities. Wait, let me see here. We sadly have our closest port down here, which means that we can't actually invade. We'll see about that when it happens, okay? Who knows what's going to happen this episode? I think the American Civil War might start, maybe even the Spanish Civil War, but we are currently just, you know, getting rid of whatever there is happening. The Polish have elected, a Saxon king from the dynasty Wettin. And we're just hanging around, you know, doing nothing in particular, just losing some political power, purging the local opposition, stuff like that, you know, classic. I've chosen the most radical and most autocratic path, and I think that's perfectly fine. It's a bit weaker than other paths that we could have chosen, but I think it's nice role-playing, and that is what Kaiserreich is, right? You sit down, you play a nation, and you choose a path for them, and then you just do it. Blood on the streets of Shanghai. The authority of the Legation Mandate Council has collapsed in a single night of blood and violence. Street gangs organized by the Chinese criminal organizations have slaughtered many members of the police corps, administrators, and even a handful of the more influential delegates from the Legation powers. Fortunately, since the dividends we are entitled to have not been paid anyway, this has little effect on us. However, we could say that this can't stand, or just say that's too bad. And honestly, I think we say this cannot be allowed to stand, because they have some stuff here that I regard as potential, or rather, you know, some of them former crown colonies. So yeah, we can't invade them right now, but in the future we will be able to do it. In the meantime, Willie over here is liquidating unprofitable estates, so they're going down this one. Indochina declares independence, that's right, okay. Against their German oppressors. A good choice, frankly. The Germans are quite weak-minded. Feeble creatures. We should probably, let's take a look at our... Yeah, let's produce some... What is the difference here? So you're big, you're tiny. You're big with a tank. Completely unnecessary. A garrison is fine, armored division is also fine.
Ready to move.
We'll give you infantry division 2. And honestly, I wish I could do that with all of them. I'm gonna give it to you two for sure. You know, of course that sets them back a bit in terms of experience, but overall we need bigger divisions. That's all there is to it. I just want to equip them right now. Please clap, by the way. We have purged the disloyal opposition. Now that is what I wanted to hear, and now I think it is time for the mandatory enrollment in the cadet corps, so that the Quebecois finally shut up. Today's youth are tomorrow's fighting men and officers. Mandating service in the cadet corps will instill pride and discipline in the youth of the nation, and train and prepare them to enter military service in defense of the nation. In defense of the king, I might say. Let me just take a look here. How are our... Yeah, that's fine. This looks perfectly fine. Let me just re-equip you as well. What's your template? I've never actually looked at it. Ugh, garbage. I actually think that I would like to reform you, and I would like to reform you, and one more. I think you are fine. Into Royal Marines. Because having 5 Royal Marines as invasion force is nice. And we have 13 left. Let's produce some Infantry Division 2, but we're going to name it Kingsguard. Good name. Good name. Good idea. Good idea I had there. Wow. So smart. Right. Let's see. Spawn in Quebec. As is everything bad. So let's not have too many hopes for these troops. Let's focus a teeny tiny bit more on... Excuse me? Where did all of that go? Oh, it went here. Fudge. Well, you know what? Having these bombers isn't a bad idea. Are we building... What are we building at the moment? Still these. Good lord. 14th May. Jack Reed elected president in the USA. Are you kidding me? The Cindies? Oh, I'm not excited at all for this war, I can tell you right now. It's the American Civil War in Kaiserreich is the worst implemented part of this entire game.
Please clap.
Right, please clap. Social credit is next. Social credit is an economic philosophy that was developed by Clifford Hugh Douglas during the Weltkrieg. Now that we are in power, we can work to implement these ideas throughout the nation. However, critics have accused social credit of being syndicalistic, and as such it would perhaps be wise to moderate our plans, lest they draw anger. Right, let's do that. Elections in Italy. Alcides Gasperi is one. He is... Wait, that's not you. Oh, this... Right. It's the Social Conservatives that have won. It seems that the former Prime Minister Ivanoe Bonomi's attempt to consolidate power in the face of Black Monday has failed. Well, I wonder if the Ausgleich has already happened, but I kind of doubt it. Germany currently doing the Reich Arbeitsdienst. Australasian comrades? Excuse me? Excuse you? New Labour campaigning. Yeah, they're doing a lot of agitation here. I don't appreciate that one bit. Let's get better, bigger tanks. And lest we forget the construction. And I mean... I think better carrier fighters would also be good. We need to take a look, or I need to take a look rather, at all of this, because we get so many research boni that I have to keep in mind what I will get soon instead of just researching stuff in a very unoptimized way. But I also want to really dive deep into these because I need political power, I need stability, I need the research slot here in particular, and man, I need... Oh, resources would also be so nice. And I need, you know, factories most importantly. Honestly, we're so weak, we're so fucked because of the party popularity here. That is something that Kaiserreich does, you know, they punish you with it to an extreme degree. Pierre Saint-Pierre? What do you mean Pierre Saint-Pierre is giving me stability? Oh. Why are you still here, buddy? French people, get out. What's going on over here anyway? Labor Relations Act, nothing too interesting right now. They have a big fleet. But so do... Oh, our fleet is so tiny. Teeny tiny. But then again, we do work together with the French. Let's get all of these together actually. Because there's one enemy that needs to be punished every time. New carriers is good. Very good. Let's put your harbor over here and then put them all in. And let's take a look here. We're producing light cruisers right now, which is nice. I think I want to focus on something else for the moment. Anti-tank will be very valuable later down the line. Kaiserreich is, you know, has changed a lot since Darkest Hour. You know, when it was released in Hearts of Iron 4, we had a different mod, Weltkrieg by Kaiser Hagen for a time. It was fairly well, he dropped it. It was the same premise essentially, you know, Germany wins the World War I. And then Kaiserreich came along and you just were like, blown away. Anyway, implementing social credit. Social credit is an economic philosophy that was developed by Clifford. We've already read that. He believes that the current economic system was designed to create a plutocracy through unnecessary scarcity and that the workers needed to be freed from the system by bringing purchasing power in line with production. Douglas' reform program contains two main elements: a national dividend to distribute money equally to all citizens to bridge the gap between earning power and prices, and a price adjustment mechanism that would forestall the possibility of inflation. Now that we are in power, we can work to implement these ideas throughout the nation. However, critics have accused social credit of being syndicalist, and as such it would perhaps be wise to moderate our plans lest they draw anger. Let me just check something. France went back to... what? No. France went back to SOCCON, yeah. Colonial courts. But they are... you know... we'll see. We'll see about it. We'll see how this went down. Anyway, we could compromise and limit the scale, which gives us infrastructure and some civilians and some civ, plus base stability. Or we get political power, one more civ, and minus 10% stability. We can't afford that. I don't want to afford that. That would be so good. You know what? The king says his people have to live good because he's the king. Overall, the existing economic system. Duplessis protests against social credit. Maurice Duplessis, the premier of Quebec, has denounced the government's economic plans, saying that they are contrary to traditional Quebecois values, and has announced that he will do his utmost to prevent any implementation of social credit in Quebec. Get the Frenchies out of here. That's all I can say, okay? That's all I'm willing to say on camera here. Oh, look at this day and night cycle. Isn't that straight up terribly ugly? It is. France, in the meantime... I wonder, I really just don't want to miss France declaring war on the communists. I want to have my war plans ready at that point. Yeah, neither of these civil wars has started yet. Gilbert K. Chesterton dies. British writer Gilbert Keith Chesterton died today in his exile in Ottawa at 62. A prolific author whose most known novel is certainly The Man Who Was Thursday. He was a devout Roman Catholic and a Christian apologist, two reasons that forced him to leave England to avoid persecution after a syndicalist revolution. Okay, let's move on. God save the king. God save our gracious king. Long live our noble king. God save the king. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the king. I'm not gonna sing that. I know. You anticipated, you hoped for me singing, but I don't want to do that. That makes everybody unsubscribe, and that's not a good feeling. So let's skip that, okay? Beyond that, let's just check here. Infantry weapon. Motorized artillery. Wires, yeah, okay. So this can be done by either, but then here's the cruiser tank. Ugh, both are nice, but Gallo seizes control of Ecuador. I'll be honest with you. I know it's a new event, but I don't actually care for that. I don't care for that one at all. We're gonna do base strike as our... I should have checked, I'm an idiot. Show me the carrier models base strike doctrine. Okay, so we're gonna hold on that until we got the support the fleet air arm. Qing declared war on Changqiao Tiang. What is this called again? Changqing Tiangu. That's what it's called, right. Mongolia annexed the Marklik, and Tibet got its fair share. What's Mongolia doing next? Emperor of the Mongols. That is honestly... Roman von Ungern-Sternberg is the best character in this entire mod. Failed army coup in Tokyo. Shocking news from Japan. Radical elements, blah blah. So defend democracy. Sad. Then again, it probably won't be that big a threat if they're democratic in Asia, so that's fine. Serbia crowns King Alexander II. No king under the sun is as great as our king, so I don't care. So, the USA rather, are gonna go into a civil war rather soon. When exactly? I have no idea. They're going full hardcore SOCCON and all of these. I wish I could raise my party popularity, please. This doesn't do it, huh? It really fucks you over so much. And when they released this mod... Oh, there you go. The end of American democracy. Surprising news that arrived from the United States of America today. President Herbert Hoover, whose administration has proven to be incapable of stabilizing the divided country and calming down the CSA and AFP militants, has invited General Douglas MacArthur. Wait, but Hoover wasn't president anymore? Well, okay. Has invited General Douglas MacArthur to take the reins of the country with a junta of military men and corporate representatives. President MacArthur is a strong proponent of an iron fist rule and opposes both syndicalism and American pacifism. Large-scale crackdowns on the enemies of America have already been reported. Right. And there's the American Union State, and there is the Civil War. Right. I already, before anything else happens, I can tell you the CSA will win. For those not in the know, it might seem like the crisis in the United States came out of nowhere, but experts agree that this was a civil war years in the making. Since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1925, the economy of the United States has been sluggish and mired in deep recession. Now, the United States has collapsed into an all-out civil war between the supporters of the federal government, the combined syndicates of America, and the right-wing American Union State. Volunteers are pouring in from around the world to support one faction or another, with some characterizing the bitter ideological conflict as simply part of a wider global clash of ideals. Intervene in the Civil War. The United States has descended into a civil war with syndicalists right on our doorstep and Huey Long rallying forces to oppose both. Chaos has overtaken our neighbors to the south. We are thus presented with two choices. First is to activate Defense Plan 2 and move to occupy a number of strategic locations, principally the New England region, even though this will greatly upset the American government. The second option is to aid the American federal government and perhaps even consider intervening in the war, perhaps with the eventual goal of gaining their aid in retaking the home islands once their war is over. So here's what's going to happen. If we were to help the USA, they would very quickly die, because most of their troops will be squashed in this corridor and they have no choice of other than just getting squashed. The CSA is going to pump out a shitload of militia troops that eventually will overpower the USA and the AUS, and that's the end of the war. So no, I'm not going to help the federal government. I'm going to activate Plan 2, the occupation of New England. The outbreak of civil war has left the New England region lightly defended and vulnerable to occupation. If we strike first, we could close a weak point on our eastern flank and strengthen our position against any invasion from a hostile American power. All but abandoned by the government, we anticipate our New England cousins will welcome our intervention. Seize New England. Beautiful. The Pacific states of America have also declared war on the USA, and they have spawned with a huge chunk of territory. Usually they wouldn't have Idaho and Nevada. I don't even know about Southern Cali. I don't think they usually have that. Okay, so we just occupied this area, including New York City. That's just... Oh, wait, what? No, New York City is actually not in our territory, huh? Fair enough. The Panama Canal. The Civil War has erupted in the United States, tearing apart the last shreds of unity in the Union. This presents us with opportunity to seize the strategically important Panama Canal for ourselves. There's very little that the US government can do to stop us at this point. So we could say rather not, and the US is not going to be all that mad, you know. They would be like, oh, okay, didn't seize it, it's kind of you. All of these modifiers, by the way, are also true for these nations, as you can see here. I will seize the Panama Canal. That's mine. There you go. Beautiful. Oh, and the Pacific states now have signed a peace deal for all of this territory. So they've settled in. They're doing fine. Succons. You know, we should, I hope in the past we can actually improve relations right now. Let's improve relations with them. Because eventually I would like them to join me in our endeavors here. God Save the King has been done. And I think that next I think I would like public works. I want to go down the industrial path. We need the industry desperately. Oh boy, do we need the industry desperately. So the PSA. Let's trade with them wherever we can. Status of Alaska. With America falling apart, Alaska has become a dagger against... Did they react badly? No. against our western flank. We should move to occupy the state now before it can be militarized by a hostile power. Seize Alaska. Let's go. Let's go, kingdom. Oh. Did we do that? Did I do that by seizing too many things? That the PSA rejoined the USA? Now that's frightening. If that actually strengthens the USA enough, then I may have made a mistake here. But you know what? King Edward doesn't give a shit. He owns this bitch, okay? He does what he has to do. Not what you think is right. Rise of the Mongol Empire. News and reliable sources of them are scarce in the vast plains of Mongolia. Right, he has named him Genghis Khan II. Classic. Absolutely classic. Fall of Washington, beautiful. Give me 2, please. Okay. Syndicate militias have advanced towards and captured the symbolic city of a capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. They stormed the Capitol building and met strong resistance, but eventually they broke through, and the flag of the Combined Syndicates of America now flies over the U.S. Capitol. Rumors are that syndicate militias have been rounding up all political representatives they could find in the city to give them trial. Although unconfirmed sources claim that most important government figures have been evacuated during the battle, with their current whereabouts unknown. The situation in the south is becoming extremely urgent. I mean, that's just generally true. We can now send them volunteers and equipment. We don't even have equipment, but I mean, right, send them. Send them, boys. Let's build some military factories. We need them desperately. Yeah, the CSA are advancing like crazy here. New England governors petition for independence. The Canadian occupation of New England had kept areas from falling into the hands of the CSA. Many New Englanders were resentful of the Canadian troops on New England soil. Finally, the 6 New England governors held a meeting with the Canadian Parliament to petition for independence. The Liberals in Ottawa agreed that an independent New England administered by New Englanders, while Canada offers protection against the CSA, would benefit both parties. So we could give them independence, we could play as them, which we won't do, or we could deny them independence and, you know, keep occupation going. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, the way I see this is, we're getting, you know, we're just getting our colony back here. What's the problem? Why do you want, you know, why do you want self-determination? That's such nonsense. Nah, we're continuing. Let's go. Somebody has to do it. You know it to be true. So yeah, you know, like King Edward the 8th would like to restore his empire. And it's a good way to start here, right? With really old colonies. Now I wonder if the last patch for South America changed something about the American Civil War. Maybe it's more, you know, balanced. The US may hate me, but maybe they can figure it out. Still no civil war in Spain, however. What have they been doing? Focus on the military. Syndicalism spreads to the Philippines. Oh. That's just ridiculous. 205 days. If we could invade them here, we could also jump to the Triads over here. Which would be nice, but it doesn't appear to be working, huh?
Yes, sir.
Department of Revolutionary. Okay, I'm just checking. What is Russia doing? That is important. Oh, national populists. Boris Savinkov has taken power and formed the Russian state. Frightening. In the meantime, it looks fairly balanced. I mean, you can say what you want. I'm surprised. I am very surprised at the moment that it looks this balanced. I could, you know, I thought about it just now, and I could try to cheese it somewhat. And what I mean by that is that I could justify on the CSA, which would make it so that they would pull out troops and put them at my border. But then again, do I want that? Don't think I do. But you hate me a bit less than the others, huh? Alright, how about we improve relationships here? If I can't do it with the PSA, then I'm gonna do it with you. Philip Snowden, aged 73, passed away in his house in Tilford, Surrey. The traitor and the chairman of the Union of Britain's TUC, Snowden has been remembered among the royalists as a synonym for treachery. Although the socialists of Britain mourn his death, in Canada his funeral has become a single bright day in this dark period of history. The devil is dead. Indeed, he is. Imagine living in a country that went through a full-scale revolution, and then for like 30 years or something was hardcore, you know, syndicalist, and all of a sudden, 1940 or something, the royalists show up, and it's the hardcore royalists as well. Man, that would be a destruction of life unseen ever before. And here's the Spanish Civil War.
All in.
Honestly, let's just end that. Spanish Civil War. How long is this going to take? July, so 2.5 months maybe. QF Pounder, sweet. Let's research this one and this one. Excuse me. What was that? And this one as well, and then let's produce some better tanks, shall we? I think at this point we also could actually send Oh, we need 30 divisions. We're still a tiny little bit away. Foundation of the Belgrade Pact. Serbia, Romania, and Greece. Interesting. Gonna try to eat up Bulgaria here. What we need, and unite the nation. Where's unite the nation? Yeah. Oh, just generic. I see. Understandable. When is France gonna have its rebellions? Reinforce the Entente. Thank you. Please don't go against me. The 1937 Dutch elections. The Dutch do love their elections. That's such a funny sentence. You know, I know a Dutch person and he constantly talks about the many parties the Dutch parliament has and the Dutch can vote for, and I'm just like, holy fuck. Spain is collapsing into anarchy. The Pope has declared that all good Catholics should support the Carlist cause. We should send aid at once. I mean, we're not Catholics, excuse me. What are you talking about? I don't think the Carlists will win. Look at this shit. The CNT of AI will win as always, of course. Lose political power or just remain silent. Honestly, I'll just remain silent. I don't see anything coming from this. The CNT of AI looks far too powerful. This, on the other hand, I mean, fuck, look at the CSA outproducing every fucking body. Okay, I think at this point, we do want to... What's the thing? Right, let's justify on them so that they come to our border. They should come up every second now. Any second now.
Ready to move.
Maybe that weakens them enough so that, yeah, there they come. It weakens them enough that they get pushed in and lose some progress in their war effort. I think we could win against them, I'll be honest with you.
Please clap.
Public works finally done. Jesus, that took so long. Construction speed, 50% construction technology. King Edward VIII today officially opened the Queen Mary Way, a limited access highway connecting Toronto to the Niagara Falls via Hamilton. Named for the Queen Mother, the Queen Mother Way? Queen Mary Way, right, sorry. It's the first limited access highway in North America. Infrastructure, that's good. Found the CBC. Infrastructure or air bases. We go down here, we get civ slots, but I want the research. A proposal has been put forward to expand the Canadian Radio Broadcasting Commission into a full-fledged national radio network called the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This would help bring together a divided nation and limit the influence of potentially subversive foreign broadcasts. Acceptable. Yeah, us justifying actually does have an understandable effect. He's still in civilian. And it's all just militia. That's the funny part. The Yankee Rebellion. We decided to continue with military occupation instead of giving the New Englanders independence as they requested. Feeling like we backstabbed them and betrayed them, many throughout the region have risen up against us, claiming that they will throw our rule off like they did in 1776. We weren't betraying you? No. Blasted Yankees, get out of here. 37 Quebec provincial election. Maurice Duplessis, the Premier of Quebec, denounced the government's economic plans, saying they are contrary to traditional Quebecois values, and announced that he will do his utmost to prevent any implementation of social credit in Quebec. As a result, his province has missed out on the investment other parts of Canada have seen, and Quebec is suffering economically as a result. Support for social credit has grown, and the French-Canadian branch of the Social Credit Party looks to make great gains in the Legislative Assembly, possibly even taking control from Duplessis and his Union Nationale. We're going to take... Oh god, we're going to sink so deep in... I'm going hardcore Anglo. You may have noticed this already. Get rid of the Frenchies. Right. So this war star, Jesus. Argentina, I think that's too much. I think maybe you can handle it, but I don't think Argentina will win this. We'll see. Maybe they are very powerful. This war right now looks far more balanced than it was before. Maybe that's also because I forced them to bring troops over here, but either way, looks good to me. Oh, this is a good song as well. This is a Hearts of Iron 2 song, I believe. 99% sure. Russia announces her ambitions. Oh, they're already going for expansionism. Savinkov is the new Russia, right? Perfectly reasonable. Expansionism, yeah. Japan announces... Stop announcing things, everybody. Eritrea revolts. Electorate reform. So they're very relaxed. But all of this, practically. The rising sun. Bring down the German Goliath. I think we're good. And I think the Civil War is actually going well. It might have been because I pushed the PSA back into the US by annexing everything around them. Totalist coup. And it may be because I'm supporting them somewhat here, you know, by making them put all their troops over here. Which if I get the chance, I'll use it. I'll go to war with you. I have nothing against that idea. I could crush him, I think, maybe. Right, let's find the CBC and then we will end this video. Quite eventful. I mean, we haven't done anything, but man, this world is going at it. Also, the Baltic War. For many years, the United Baltic Duchy, set up by the Germans after their conquest of the former Russian governorates during the Weltkrieg, has marginalized its native Estonian and Latvian populace. Though the local population has been ruled by local German elites for centuries, with the imposition of a German ducal structure under Duke Friedrich and policies that both favor German settlers and undermine the natives, open rebellion has broken out. Right. Look at you, Friedrich. Let's see how this war goes. Usually the United Baltic Duchy, whenever I see it, they win very quickly. But we'll see how it goes this time around. Looks same as always. And we could intervene in the US now, I believe. I mean... 2 units though. Jeez, they're getting pushed in. Crazy, yeah. Maybe the US is actually going to win that. That would be extremely frightening. Oh boy. Where's their political tree? To get back stuff. Let's hope that it doesn't get too serious, and let's just finish the focus here. Let me just first of all put in resources, please.
Yes, sir. Listen up.
Please clap.
There you go. We founded the CBC, and we're already gonna go for the National Research Council. Well, nothing interesting, and I will see you in the next episode. And we will continue on this strange adventure in Kaiserreich. God save the king. Later.